No, it's me. Sorry.
You're all right. Want to make sure we won't wait on me.
Bring me glasses, Judy? No.
I have no idea what they're at the top. Sorry.
That's
I
okay.
lied.
Are they readers?
They are.
I was like, oh, perfect.
Say goodbye to those, okay?
Good morning, everybody. This is the Glens Falls Industrial Development Agency, and we're having both a public hearing today and a regular meeting. We're going to start with our public hearing. This is concerning a proposed project at Union Square. The address is 9-15 Broad Street, Glens Falls, New York. It includes what's called the Pine Street Wing, and we're going to have a short presentation by the developer who's here with us today, Ryan Connor from EBRM Properties, LLC. Ryan and his partner Aaron have submitted an application to the Glens Falls Industrial Development Agency, which we have reviewed very carefully, gone through in great detail, and appreciate all the work that you did to fill that out, Ryan, and get us the information that we've requested. We do have a public hearing notice that was posted both online and at City Hall and through our website. We do have, I believe, a copy of the application too that's available to the public, and we can take questions from any of the members here today or anyone from the public, both online or anyone who may come in person. Depending on the results of this public hearing, we will, as a board, meet next and consider a vote on this project. And so now let me also turn it over to Jeff and to Ryan, and if you guys would make a brief presentation explanation of the project.
Sure. Yeah.
Very good. Thank you.
So Union Square building, which is on the corner, kind of a Y of Broad Street where it's south, right? We look to make use of the Pine Street wing, sections that have been honestly vacant for decades. So we would be putting in 14 one-bedroom apartments in the top 2 floors back there. And then we also will focus on the first floor space, which is half below grade, but it's also quite useful space. We'll turn that into potential commercial space in the future. And then we also will, I guess I'd say, complete the rest of the building, right? So make the rest of the building commercial space use as well. In the end, it would be about 35% residential, which leaves the remainder as commercial, which is, today it's probably about 50% commercial and then 50% vacant. So we just look to make use of all the space. The look of the building will remain the same. We'll do new windows, we'll clean it up, we'll clean up the exterior, and then of course we'll clean up the interior, because that's one of our primary goals.
Now the existing part of the building, I think that we did hear earlier from some of the people that rent from you there, who said that you were doing substantial improvements also in the hallway spaces there as part of this project.
Yeah, we've been doing
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Okay. Very good.
But yeah, we would continue it and see it through. We're probably down to basically just doing the carpet there now. We've done a bunch of painting, wall treatments, ceiling treatments, just kind of cleaning it up.
Yep.
We will condition the space as part of the project. So like that common area you're talking about currently it has good heat, but if you walk in there today, it's warm. So we will condition it as well.
And could you also, I think you've done this before, but kind of summarize the parking, because you've got a couple different parking lots, and and it looks like a lot of people using the buildings now. Well,
It's
a lot of people use
right.
lots.
for the public, yes, as well as
Yeah.
your tenants.
Yeah, so we have 3 lots surrounding the building. Okay, there's one that's on, I guess they call it the South Street side. Then there's one that sits on the corner. That whole corner is belongs to the building. And then there's one on the Pine Street side of the building, which is just an eight spot parking lot. 76 parking spaces total. What we would do to manage parking is we would allocate sections to be residential, like we would actually assign spaces to be residential. They would be, we're currently planning on doing it on the corner lot, in the extremities of the lot where you don't need to fight the commercial parking as much. So we would take 1.5 spaces per unit and allocate that to the residential project.
Yeah, I just want to say a couple quick things. You know, this is it's a little bit unusual, as Ryan mentioned, because it's this building has been long used, and you know, many people have been in there. There's architecture offices, the salt caves in there, but it's only that first half. You know, so the front half of the Broad Street side has been used and occupied for a while. This other one has been difficult to repurpose for for the historical reasons, the purpose use. The previous owner, Tom O'Neill, had come to me a couple different times trying to figure out a way to make that work. And you know, even with the potential offer of help from the IDA, he still wasn't able to make the numbers work. So, you know, but I think at the same time, you know, there's a huge amount of development going on downtown. I don't have to remind this board, but you know, there are within the new market center, there are with this building 7 different residential projects going on within about 150 yards of the new ed. So, you know, this is a sort of, and it also fits almost perfectly into that sweet spot of, it's an existing building, an existing space, right, that we're not tearing anything down, you know, we're actually restoring these old historic properties, and something that has its own surplus of parking. You know, so it sort of fits all the buttons if we can just make that work. So that's what we're here for today.
I have at my desk, if you'd like to stop in, it's a total layout of that corner all the way down to South and Elm. And over the years, it starts in the early 1900s. There was a Glens Falls t-shirt factory that was all in that area. And in the corner spaces that, you know, just past you, that comes to a turn where Broad and South come together. The way that those buildings were all functioned and turned into factories and disappeared over the years and then came back in different livery stables and stuff. It was fantastic. The old school that was across the street, and the school must have came after the cemetery. So right, it was a cemetery on the corner, then a school. Now the new Patton project, the Point, I believe is going to call it. So it is fantastic, and we need to encourage, I mean, we need to applaud you for putting in the time and helping us get some more residential. We certainly need it here in the city, and to reinvest in that beautiful building, right? And it's been sitting there for a long time, and it's part of that rejuvenation, and it's certainly a worthy cause. You're still keeping the commercial space, so it's not one versus the other, it's both. I mean, which is exactly what as we work with the new comprehensive planning committee, it's that multiple uses that is our future, right? I think that when the last time that the zoning was done in the downtown area, they were thinking, well, you either want office space or you want industry, right? And it's almost zoned so that you couldn't have or didn't, it discouraged residential. And people, young people especially, more than ever, want to live in a downtown like Glens Falls. Small enough to walk and bike, and yet big enough to have commerce enough to keep it going. 27 restaurants, and so what a fantastic idea. Of the tenants that you have, even though of the space that was available when you came in and now you cleaned it up, how much of that is vacant? I mean, like, how many, if I came to you tomorrow and need to open a business, do you have any space available?
Yeah, currently we have a space, we're painting it right now, so we're freshening it up, but about 1,800 square feet. We have a space on the top floor, honestly, awesome space once we paint it.
Right.
And then the whole Pine Street wing first floor is, we actually cleaned it out, it's wide open, it's vacant.
Right.
So that'd be the other option.
Right, but like I guess of what you, when you came in and had the building, what would the percentage of the vacancy be of that building when you first came in? I mean, because we're saying there's less than 1% vacancy rate in apartments in Glens Falls. What's the vacancy rate of your commercial space?
Commercial space?
Yeah.
When we came in, it was probably 15%,
Vacant?
15, 20, yes, there was 2 spaces. We did just fill one just a month ago to Tranquil Massage, which is like a spin-off of Saltpeter.
Sure.
They want to stay in the building, so that leaves us with the one, but it was 15% when we came in.
So now it's certainly less than 15, maybe 10%?
Yeah, whatever the, yeah, I think
Might be.
we still have the larger space free, so yeah, probably 10% vacant.
So, I mean, it's a great rate. We hope the rest of Glens Falls gets that way. You know, we filling the spaces and keeping them filled, something that we couldn't do forever, right? They seem to come and we get all excited, oh, there's a new business opening. And then within a year and a half, they go out because we couldn't get the momentum going that we have today. So this adds to that and residential.
You could see a world where people are living on one wing and they said, I'm gonna go to the office and walk down the hall.
Yes, yes.
I know.
And don't get wet.
So just a little bit more detail about the application. So the application is for a pilot agreement, a payment in lieu tax agreement, or pilot, a sales tax exemption, and a mortgage tax exemption. And Jeff worked with Ryan, and they went through numerous different income and operating budgets to look at different models here. We typically do a 7-year pilot, and so we looked at that. We also looked at maybe doing a 5-year. With this project, with both the total effective income and the expenses, the cash flow in the first 3 years and almost 4 years is negative on this project, given the cost of those improvements. And so we carried this out into a 15-year range and a 10-year range, and we looked at those different options. And Jeff, where are we
I
today?
think we're looking at a 10-year.
So we're looking at, instead of our maximum, which would be a 15, and or a 7, which is kind of our average, we're looking at a 10, and that specifically has to do with the cash flow. And we're only going to get Ryan and Aaron up to in the $50,000, not even the $50,000 cash flow annual at that level. So it's tight, it's a tight budget, but it's an important project. And so if the members here are comfortable, I'm certainly comfortable with doing the 10-year as well as the mortgage tax and the sales tax exemption. And so that, Kara went ahead and she prepared a, in addition to the notice of public hearing, she did put together a draft resolution, and when we go into our regular board meeting, we can take a look at that, but that is for the 10-year, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the current taxes on the property will just remain the same for a certain period of time, and then you get to full at 10?
So for the first 5, we're doing what the current is with no increase.
Right.
And then the second 5 years, there would be 50% increase.
But the current taxes will always, whatever the current taxes are, that'll be the base for the term of the pilot. So the existing taxes will always be paid. It'll just be on the improvements to the.
Very good.
And that's city
So
and, city and county.
It's important to know.
It's important to know.
Yeah, school, county, city, yep.
Yep.
So yes.
In reference to any properties that we're doing like this, with these programs, is that base tax rate subject to like a general reassessment that the city may do, and that may go up?
Not under the pilot agreement, I don't believe until.
No, it's locked while the pilot, it's locked while the pilot is operational.
So it would, if there was, it would happen at the end of the period of the 10 years.
So if there had been an interim reassessment, that jump, it would be a very, a jump at the end of 10 years, because it would be reassessed as if that assessment had gone through, and then any increases, right, so, but
So
for
that
10 years.
these properties don't escape the general reassessment that everybody else experiences.
Correct,
Okay.
just delay.
Right, like some municipalities, they show the increase of the overall assessment from year to year, if they go up or not. And then, but the pilot actual payment is calculated based on the base that's through the agreement.
Today.
Based on today's data.
And do we have something in this that during the life of this,
The special district taxes will always be paid.
so that there's been a history of people not, grieving their assessed value because they didn't want to pay the special uses like the water and the sewer tax. And that is not
Part of
the
this.
case. You can't, if the building becomes worth a certain amount, then you pay the water and sewer tax on that amount. You can't grieve that down.
Because it's
just
not
so-
a tax, it's misnamed. It's not a water tax or a sewer tax, it's a use payment.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Yeah.
So,
That's a whole other issue anyway.
Correct.
By law, the IDA can't exempt
Right.
those taxes.
You want to show that.
So and that's important, I mean, it's important that,
Right.
it's, there are, and certainly I don't think that there are large companies that grieve their assessed values regardless of what they are. It's almost like they don't even look at what they are. They just know that if they grieve them, that they can negotiate them down and to a lower rate somehow, and therefore,
Even if they don't really expect to win in that negotiation, they can say to their stockholders that they did everything they could.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's just an action worth the cost of the attorney. Now, I don't want anyone thinking that boards always cave, because they don't always cave. Assessment boards,
but
try to hold their own.
Yeah, and sometimes it's not caving, it's medium somewhere in between, but it's that, if you're not used to that, like I wasn't coming in as mayor, you feel, it upsets you. Because it might be on one hand getting a pilot agreement and not paying on the additional value, but they're still grieving the value because they don't want to pay the special use tax.
Yeah.
And they're full. And you're like, wait a second. So there's just, I wanted to make sure that it's there for all of our pilot agreements.
Does that happen on a regular basis? You think they're doing it mainly, well, overall taxes, but you think, how much do you think the water and sewer bill plays into that? Because I know part of it's based on your tax assessment, which
That's
is kind of ridiculous anyways.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I think that, and so some do it as a matter of course, like Jane said, because they've learned that it's worth it in the long run. I don't know how to explain it any better than Jane did, but they just grieve it. And they, sometimes we hold tight and there's that, sometimes it goes down a little, sometimes it goes down a lot. And do they do it because of the water? No, but I can tell you that in general, that there's a perception that we all pay way too much water and sewer. And I can tell you that neighboring communities hide much of their water and sewer taxes in their property taxes so that you don't see it. I also can tell you that you pay less than for your cell phone than you do your water and sewer. But because we bill it quarterly, you think that, oh my God, I can't believe I'm paying this $250 or $300 bill. This is terrible. But if you go and look at that value of what you're getting to not pollute our community, for us to have clean drinking water it's not from the Hudson River, but from 5 pristine reservoirs. Because I'm so into it so much, I think there's no way we're paying too much. But boy, I won't win a re-election saying that, right? Because any tax is too much, and any water use fee is too much. But we've looked at, we've actually paid a consultant to start to look at how we could bill it monthly. But the cost of sending the bill is more than maybe the perception, right? Because it's about educating people. that you're getting it quarterly, break that up by month and then look at it. You're paying more for your cable, you're paying more for your cell phone than you are for your water and your sewer bill. But because you get it quarterly, it certainly doesn't feel that way.
Well, then if you ask someone like a resident of Flint, Michigan, you know, what their water's worth, they probably say, how much would you pay for clean, fresh water?
Right?
Like Ben Franklin said, when the well runs dry, we find the word for water.
There we go, look at that. And frankly, it's a new one.
Saying every day.
All right. Anyway, I just wanted to make sure that that was part of it, and it is, and that's great, and it's not just for this, but for all of ours, so that we keep those things separate.
So, let me see if there's any questions, either for Ryan or for Jeff, for me, about this. Anything online, Peter? Okay, all right. So we've been going for just almost 30 minutes now, not quite. I think what I'm gonna do is move over to our regular meeting and get that started. And if anybody comes in the next couple of minutes, but we'll probably shut them start soon. All right? Okay. All right. So I'm calling to order the Glens Falls Industrial Development Agency monthly meeting. We have a quorum here. All the members are present except Denise Conklin, who wrote in and had a conflict and not able to come today. We're also joined by our key advisors and staff, so thank you for being here in August. I know we don't always meet in August. There are 2 project reports. We've already been talking about Union Square, so I'm not going to go into great detail on that, and I'll come back to that in a minute. But we do have a prospective applicant who's applied or started an application for a property at 178-180 Maple Street in Glens Falls. It's called Green Springs Capital Group LLC. I thought he was going to come today.
I had invited, but I didn't hear back from them yesterday, so.
What building is it?
This is the old fortress with Leland papers.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The
Okay.
building in the corner.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were just in front of the planning board last week, I believe. In fact, that was the planning board.
It
meeting
was.
we were at.
Yes.
And I think they got conditional approval. I think the condition was that obviously they're looking for short tax credits. And so obviously they're gonna go to SHPO and US Park approval as far as their designs. I think they're looking at about a 19 unit residential building plus some commercial space around, I think about 3,000 square feet of commercial space as well. So, they've approached us about some help, so we'll look at the numbers. I think it would be necessary for them to come in and talk to us about the project that they're looking to do. I know that's an area of the city, obviously, that I know the mayor's interested in, this is the first ward, right? I mean, I think we really want to start sort of focusing. I think that was made, that comment was made maybe a month or so ago, when we were talking about the projects over here in Warren.
Yeah.
That we've gotten the Brownfield Opportunity Area grant that we're looking at. I'll call it first ward, it's not really defined that specifically as a boundary, but the Warren Street corridor, I guess we'll call it, running all the way up to Dix Avenue. So there's quite a few projects that we're looking at in that area. This is sort of the center of that. So obviously, it's an interesting sort of mixed-use area that we'd like to sort of repurpose in what we can.
So Jeff did have me take a look at the preliminary application. It is at this point incomplete. It's not clear if how the state and historic state and federal historic tax credits are going to come into the transaction. And so we had questions for him. We were hoping that what's his name?
Ryan Green.
Ryan Green. We hope that he would come today and we'd be able to at least start that conversation, but we'll follow up, or Jeff will follow up with him and we'll see.
I should mention too that there's an existing city-received Restore New York grant on that property as well. So we're trying to figure out how that plays into the prospect of financing for this project,
Yeah.
which could be significant. It's $1 million grant.
When the building comes up, or the topic comes up, I'll have to recuse myself. Currently, my company, Celtic Attitudes, is in the basement of that building,
Yeah.
so don't know if that will still be the case or not, but we wish him well. It is a beautiful property that can, that they wanted to develop for a while. Another one where it has that potential and it's been mostly empty for a long time. For years and years after Leland Paper had it, Donahue and Higgins Candy and Tobacco Company. That tells you how old that company is, right? Candy and Tobacco Company, but they are in the old, they grew and ended up at St. Alphonsus.
Is that where they are?
Yeah,
All right,
in the
that's
old
nice.
in the old Just Water building.
Yep.
And so it's great to see the businesses growing, and it's great to see more residential opportunities, and certainly the First Ward, I believe, is your next opportunity zone, right? Yeah. And South Street comes alive and breathes new life. Warren Street's
Is
next.
South Street coming alive?
I don't know. Anyway.
You should hear the life going on.
All right. All right, so that is just something pending, and we'll come back to that maybe next month. And so I'm gonna go back to Union Square. Again, we have a complete application for 915 Broad Street, Union Square Building in Glens Falls by EDRM Properties LLC. I'm going to recommend that we close down the public hearing. We've had no comments from the public. We've had a lot of discussion here as a board, and that'll all be incorporated into our minutes. But if the members agree, I'm going to shut down the public hearing.
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, so the public hearing is hereby shut down, and we're back to our regular board meeting and the application that is before us. Again, it is for a 10-year pilot agreement, a mortgage tax exemption and a sales tax exemption, and those numbers are incorporated in the document, the notice of public hearing that Kara put out on our behalf, and you have a copy of the proposed resolution. And so let me go back to the members here and see if there's any additional comments or questions before we take a vote. Okay, there being none, is there a motion to approve this resolution as presented for the pilot, the sales tax exemption, and mortgage tax exemption?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays, any abstentions? There being none, the motion is passed, it is approved. We'll get those documents signed, Brian, and look forward to working with you.
Just so you're trying to get it done by the end of the week, is that what you're
I think we have a little more time.
Okay.
I think we pushed it to next.
Yeah,
I
okay.
talked to the bank attorney yesterday,
No.
so
Okay, I didn't know what day next week, but yeah.
I think that's what he
Tomorrow
wanted.
morning.
Yeah, that's what they were targeting.
We like to think.
If it doesn't get rescheduled 4 times, we say it'll seem humorous after. That's what they're all about.
Okay. So we have no additional administrative reports that we're going to do today, including any payment of bills. So unless there's some other information that people on the board want, we're going to adjourn, and our next meeting will be September 11th.
Are we gonna do that day? At
If
8 o'clock?
you wish to move it, we can. I think it's up to.
Well, don't we usually have a ceremony? What time?
Yeah, the firehouse?
Yeah, I gotta be honest, I'm not thinking that far ahead. Let me
Right.
take a look, I'll get back to you.
So I may have to get back to you on that. I'm not sure that we can meet at that time in the morning if there's a ceremony going on. So I'll get back to you on that. All right. So anyways, in the interim, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Is there a second? All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you all.
Thank you.